maybe I should start like a planner or some sort of schedule so I actually stay on top of things. Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me in this Evolve student vlog, a place where I talk about my art journey, specifically with the Evolve online program, maybe rant a little bit here and there. I really appreciate you lending an ear while you create or go about your day. This is episode 5. Feel free to please check out my other Evolve videos if you'd like. So in the last video, I talked about finally finishing block 1 and feeling super excited about starting the next phase. However, I didn't get started right away. Even after setting up my shadow box, I still dragged my feet on getting the first drawing exercises done. So instead, I ended up taking about a 2-week unintentional break and painted other things, varnished a few dry paintings, and sent other works to their new homes. And although I wasn't doing my Evolve work, I was still taking an Evolve approach to my paintings. I've noticed Evolve has given me a structure to follow, kind of like a roadmap, if that makes sense, and it feels like now I'm learning to observe and plan, when before I kind of just jumped into painting because planning felt like a burden, which looking back now, I think it felt like a burden because I didn't know what I was looking for to set up a plan. Before, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to look at my subject and break it down and then put it back together. I never analyzed anything before starting to paint. Sure, I knew how to look for shadows and lights, basic stuff, but I never put into thought their relationships, which sounds so off saying that out loud. And now I kind of feel like maybe I should have known that, but I used to really just kind of pick a spot and adjust it from there. Not anymore though. Maybe not ever again. Not saying that I take hours just studying my subject, but a quick overlook and a simple plan to start off really makes a difference in the long run. In the end, I was pretty happy with how my food paintings came out, especially for painting them freehand and how small they were, and my color mixing. Even though I haven't gotten to that portion of the program, it's kind of cool to see what understanding value does for mixing colors. Piper, our head instructor, has a new students welcome class every few weeks. I forget exactly how often, but in these classes she briefly talks about each step in Evolve and what we will be learning. I'm really looking forward to block 3 because apart from my jumbled knowledge of values that now have been unraveled and are being put to good use, color theory and understanding how to mix color is the next thing that I feel that I need help with. For examples, yellows and oranges I find tricky. I'm not sure why I do, but those are just the colors I can't seem to get a good grasp on for mixing. Otherwise, much like values, I have a basic understanding from my own research, but I'm sure there's much more efficient ways of mixing colors. And at this point, though I was only getting started on block 2, I was still a long way from reaching color mixing. And having to figure out the perfect spot to set up my still life box was another whole situation. I had to move my room around and figure out where I could put the box so that the daylight isn't fully directing it, but where I can still paint and have good light to see what I'm painting. It was a lot to have to strategize and figure out how to move the room around. So even when I took this break from my assignments, I still went to the live classes, still went to the study groups, and funny enough, some of my peers also felt that same feeling at the beginning of block 2. And once I came into the realization that 2 days had actually turned into 2 weeks of putting off my assignments, I snapped out of it and decided it's time. I had to put on my big girl pants and get to work. And although I didn't stop painting and stopped doing my assignments, I really needed to go back to the curriculum because I wasn't going to let drawing from life intimidate me any longer from progressing in my art journey. This isn't going to break me, it's going to make me better, is what I need to remember. And as Richard Schmid said, painting from life is the ultimate in representational art because it's about painting a real human experience. So really, I need to embrace it and need to let it help me grow. So the first couple exercises were just drawing, no painting, which was kind of something I wasn't looking forward to because I love painting. But it was really just centered on getting used to measuring from life and getting comfortable with our tools and just practicing it and making sure that our measurements are correct. Kevin does mention that this isn't forever and that this is just to help us train our eye, and eventually we will be able to rely more on ourselves and to less on our tools. And that made me feel a little bit of relief because measuring at first feels like such a hassle. And I just remember wanting to just jump right into painting. And I think it's because first we're supposed to sketch and then guess numbers, then actually measure, then box our items on canvas, and then draw it out, and then finally paint. It felt like there were so many steps to get to the painting. And while finally creating my first painting from life, I surprised myself. With proper instruction and doing my best to follow it, I was very happy with my first painting from life. It may look simple, but I wanted to use something that would be easy to measure. Sorry about that. It's really nice outside. But I wanted to use something that would be easy to measure, as in something that would be easy to tell if my measuring is off, because that's what he suggests that we do. To me, blocks were the perfect answer for that because the edges were nice and solid and crisp. They popped from the background, so if I measure it correctly, I should be able to go back X amount of times and still get the same measurement. Once I get really comfortable with the motion and posture and measuring, because you do have to remember, or you do have to position yourself the correct way to get the same measurement every time. But once I get really comfortable with that, then I hope to slowly move up in difficulty throughout the block. And I honestly can't wait to see where my work is at the end of block 2. And receiving my box for blocks 3 and 4, which I already have, and I can't wait to share that unboxing. It's really amazing what this program is doing, honestly. Sure, I could just paint and learn from my own mistakes as time goes on, but I feel personally that there comes a point in your self-taught journey where you need some sort of mentorship or some sort of feedback, because if not, then you're just going to take forever making the same mistakes until you learn how to fix them. So far, I really do feel like the Evolve program is helping me connect the dots on how to improve my art and how to put together and finally understand things with much clarity, because it's coming from who I consider to be a professional. If you haven't seen Kevin Murphy's work, you should. He has made some amazing paintings, and I'm so thankful that he and his team were able to put together this program. And I can't wait to see what's to come in blocks 3 and 4. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!